So, Roman persecution, all right? Roman persecution. That's the name of the topic. The first beginning, that was the Acts of the Apostles. Roman persecution. That's the name of the topic. You know, it's gonna be a two-part. I'm gonna finish it off next week, Lord's will. All right, Roman persecution of Jerusalem. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to go into a little history of who are the Romans. No, I don't know if any of you all know this book right here. You know, hey, put a picture up of this book. Those of you all that you all know this book right here. None of you all? Huh? Oh, but the one on the screen is called The Time of the Gentiles. All right? It was written by Bishop Nathaniel about 17 years ago. All right? So when he just gave it for us, he wrote on it only for real disciples, you know what I mean? But it was a study guide that he put together and he gave to us so we could learn the history, the time of the Gentiles, you know? You understand? So most of you all don't have it. I have it. Aiton have it. I think Captain Zeph, you know, the brothers and them, Black Rhino have it. But if you was there back then, you know, you will have this right here. And it's a good study guide. And what it goes over is the time of the Gentiles. Now, as you could see, you know, you got the Babylonian Empire. When you read Daniel 2, all right, it gives you the breakdown of the rulership of this earth, all right? And it starts with the Babylonian Empire, then the Persians and the Medes Empire, the Greek Empire, and then you got the Roman Empire. You understand? It's 4 major rulership that came on this earth, because the 5th that you see down below there is an extension of the 4th. All right, when you read the scripture, it's the iron and the toe, the toe and the iron that mix with clay. No, the iron that mixed with clay, that's the 5th, which is the extension of the 4th. You understand? So what I'm going to touch on is the 4th. You know, the rise of Rome and them ruling or oppressing us, man. You know, so from there, hey, go to the beginning. Go to the one, I just sent a picture there. Go to the other picture after that. Yeah. So who could read that?
Make it a little bit bigger, brothers.
Hey, we're going to try to make this, I'm going to try to make this book available. We're going to revise it and add some more stuff to it and try to make it available for all of you. But the bishop, he wrote this book about 16, 17 years ago. You know, so we're going to try to revise it and give it and make it accessible for all of you all. It was a good studying tool that I used when I was young in the truth. And it helped me to understand a lot of the history. You know, so this is the fourth kingdom to rise up and rule this earth. All right? The 4th kingdom, and we are living today in the extension of the 4th kingdom, which is Rome. All right? So read that for me.
Roman captivity. 64 BC to 193 AD.
All right.
Originally, the people of Rome were the descendants of Kittim, the son of Javan, fourth son of Japheth. Read Genesis 10 and 4. Esau conquered them as the Greeks and became the Romans.
All right. So I want you to go to Maccabees, first Maccabees 1 and 1. Let me show you all some. Because this is what them Yaya Israelites, they use this to say that the Romans or white people is Japhet. Why? Because you see what you just read there, right? They are the original people that was over there is the sons of Javan, which was Chittim or Kittim. You know what I mean? So when you read the scripture, sometimes the Bible referred to Edom as Kittim or Chittim. But the reason why he referred to them as that is because they conquered those people and pushed them out of that land. You understand? That's why they refer to them as that. You know? So read that for me. First Maccabees 1 and 1.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim.
So it says that he came out of where?
Out of the land of Chittim.
So Alexander the Edomite, he came out, the white man, he came out of the land of Chittim. All right, read on.
Had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes.
All right, so it says that he came out from the land of Chittim. Now go to the scripture there, Genesis 10 and 4. Go there and read that. Genesis 10 and 4. I'm showing you all where the doctrine comes from, where they say that the white man is Japhet. I'm showing you all where it comes from. You all shouldn't be confused where that doctrine comes from. That doctrine comes from this right here. Because Rome and the Greeks, they are referred to as Chittim or Kittim. That's where the doctrine comes from. All right? So read Genesis 10 and 4. And they use Genesis 10 and 4. This is what they use. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 4. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodaim.
So you all see that it tell you the son. It telling you the sons right there of Javan, which is the son of Japhet. You understand? So this is what they use to say that Esau is Japhet. Okay? So from there, go back to that book and read that right there.
Esau conquered them as the Greeks.
So Esau conquered them. You understand? Remember the blessing for Esau, right? Go to Genesis 27 and 38. Let's go to the blessings that the Lord gave Esau.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
So it says that Esau, his dwelling shall be what?
The fatness of the earth.
Meaning the best part of the earth. All right, read on.
And of the dew of heaven from above.
And of the dew of heaven of above, meaning what? All over, you're going to live all over the earth. And in the best part of the earth. Read on.
And by thy sword.
And by what?
And by thy sword.
This is telling you how he's going to live in the fatness of the earth. This is telling you how he's going to get those lands that he's living in. And by what?
And by thy sword.
And by his sword, read on.
Shalt thou live.
He shall live. That's how he's going to get these lands. The fatness, all these rich lands. That's how Esau is going to get it, by his sword. You understand? How did Esau get America?
Sword.
By his sword. France, by his sword. England, by his sword. You know what I mean? All these lands that he got, all these lands, you know, he got it by his sword. Friends, sword. You understand? All these lands, Esau got these lands with the sword. You know, he murdered and he killed the people of these lands. You know, the ancient, in ancient Roman Greece, those lands was the lands of Japhet. What Esau did, Esau came and took that land. You understand? That's what he did. He came and he took the land and he got rid of the people out of the land. You know, the same thing he did here in America. Everybody understand that? So when these Yahya Israelites come with that dumb doctrine to you all, that Esau is Japhet, you know what I mean? You all just destroy that foolishness, man. You understand? Destroy that foolishness. You know, so everybody understand that. So from there, I want you all to go back to where you was at. Read that, the booklet that I gave you.
Esau conquered them as the Greeks and became the Romans.
So Esau conquered Chittim and Kittim. Sometimes it pronounced Chittim, sometimes it pronounced Kittim. But Esau conquered them and as the Greeks, okay? Read on.
And became the Romans we read about in history.
And they became the Romans that we read about in history. Keep on reading.
Rome was founded in 753 BC by Romulus.
So you all see that. It says Rome was founded by Romulus. Romulus. That's where the name Rome come from, Romulus. But let me show you all something. Go to Psalms 49 and 11. Let me show you what Esau does, what the white man does, what the Bible says, how he roll.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
Read on.
And their dwelling places to all generations.
Read on.
That they call their lands after their own names.
So the land, Rome, was named after Romulus. You understand? That's what the white man does. That's what Edom does. He named his lands after his name. You know what I mean? That's what he does. Keep on reading. Keep on reading the what up there.
The legend of Romulus and Remus. According to legend, the Greeks had laid siege to the city of Troy near the coast of modern Turkey and killed almost everyone.
So everybody know about that Trojan, the Troy, the story about Troy and the Trojan horse and all of that. You know what I mean? Keep on reading.
One Trojan prince named Aeneas escaped by sea and sailed to Italy. He landed at Laurentium on the west coast of Italy. He formed an alliance with Latinus, the king of Latins, and married his daughter Lavina. Arenas, son of Ascanius, founded a city called Alba Longa. He was the first of a long line of kings who ruled for about 400 years. When the last king was overthrown, his twin grandsons, Romulus and Remus, were left to die by the river Tiber. A wolf found them and looked after them. The wolf breast fed them and nourished them.
Well, I don't know about that. That's the myth. You know, but that's a legend. You know, Esau always like to put some legend to make it seem as they so, you know, so they claim they was nursed by what, a wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wolf would have eat them babies, man. I don't know what kind of wolf that is. Well, read on.
When the twins grew up, they decided to set up a new city on the spot where they had been left to die. They held a sacred ceremony, and Remus mocked it. So Romulus killed his brother and named the city after his own name and became its first ruler.
So you'll see that he named the city after his name and he became the first ruler. All right, so Rome was named after Romulus. All right, keep on reading.
The followers of Romulus were shepherds, hunters, farmers, and merchants who lived in small huts scattered on the 7 hills on which the city of Rome was built.
Okay.
Romans and Greeks are Idumeans.
So the Romans and the Greeks, they are Idumeans, okay? Meaning what? Read on.
Edomites that relocated from Edom, called Petra today.
So they were Edomites that relocated. All right? That's who the Romans are. You know, the same way how you had Edomites that relocated from Britain and came where? To America and called themselves what? Americans. And became the most powerful country on the planet Earth. It's the same thing with Rome back in the days. You understand? It's the same way you had Edomites that migrated where? That migrated in France. That migrated in different parts of the world and took it over. It's the same thing. All right? So, we're dealing with the rise of Rome. That's what I'm dealing with. I'm touching on a little history in the Rome before I go into the oppression that they did against us, man. You know? So from there I want you to go to Maccabees. Maccabees 8 and start at verse 1. So you'll see how Rome was started. Well, the myth behind it is that them two boys was left and I don't believe in that crap. But some of it is, but it give you a little on how the mythology behind how Rome was started. Some of it might be true, some of it might be fabricated bullcrap. The part concerning Troy and all of that, I believe that part. You know what I mean? All that other part is, Yeah, so First Maccabees 8 and 1.
First Maccabees chapter 8 verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans.
So this is when Rome became a nation now, a powerful nation. So he says that what?
Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans.
So Judas, he heard about the fame of the Roman Empire. All right, Judas was a warrior. Judas, he was fighting the Greeks. You understand? Read on.
That they were mighty and valiant men.
Read on.
And such as would lovingly accept all that join themselves unto them.
Because that's some that the Romans had set up. If you join yourself with them and make a league with them, they're going to make a league with you. You understand? It's the same way it's same thing with America today. If you make, what you call them things? Allies. They become, nobody could mess with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Read on.
And make a league of amity with all that came unto them. And they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts, which they had done among the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute.
So they conquered the Galatians. At this time, the Roman Empire, they conquered the Galatians and brought them under tribute. You understand? Read on.
And what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of silver and gold, which is there.
So they took they took over the mines of the silver and the gold. That's where Rome first got all their wealth, man. You understand? That's where the first set of wealth came from, that silver mine and that gold mine, man. Read on.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them.
So that's how Rome was rolling. Rome was conquering everything, man. This is the fourth kingdom that we're reading about here in Daniel in Daniel 2. You understand? This is the fourth kingdom, which is the kingdom that make out of iron. You feel what I'm saying? Read on.
And given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. Beside this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, king of the Chittims, and the others that lifted up themselves against them and had overcome them. How also Antiochus, the king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants with horsemen and chariots, and a very great army, was discomfited by them, and how they took him alive, and covenanted that he and such as reigned after him should pay a great tribute and give hostages, that he should, and that which was agreed upon.
So, nations had to pay tribute, man. Everybody had to pay tribute to Rome. Even when they came and they conquered us, we had to pay tribute. That's why Christ said what he said. He says, the person that paid tribute, you all know the parable?
Matthew chapter 17, verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, doth not thy master pay tribute?
Right. So you see that? We had to pay tribute. Christ had to pay tribute. Peter had to pay tribute. You know what I mean? Everybody had to pay taxes to Rome, man. That's how they was rolling. They come, they conquer you, then they tax you every month, man. You got to pay that money every month. That's why Christ said something. He said, who paid, then shall the people be free, or something like that. That's the scripture I was looking for. Or keep on reading.
Mm-hmm. He saith, yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children, or of strangers? Peter saith unto him, of strangers. Jesus saith unto him, then are the children free.
So that's when, when you paying tribute to another nation, you are in captive or bondage to that other nation. You understand? So at that time, when you read the scripture, at that time when Christ was speaking, we was paying tribute to Rome. Why? Because Rome had came against us and had conquered us under Ptolemy. You understand? No, under Pompey. You understand? And we was paying tribute to Rome. So we were servants to Rome. So jump back to Maccabees.
First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 8. And the country of India and Media and Libya, and of the goodliest countries which they took of him and gave to King Eumenes.
So you all see that? You know what I mean? All these countries they took, man. The Romans took. Remember what we read in Genesis early on? It says that he's the fatness of the earth. That's how Esau gonna get. He gonna live in the fatness of the earth, and he gonna do it with the sword. Now we're reading about the godliest cities that Esau took. Read on.
Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them, slew many of them, and carried away captives their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to their servants unto this day. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them.
So everybody that heard about Rome was afraid back then, man. You understand? When Rome was rising up, they wasn't playing. They was conquering everybody. And you hear about Rome, fear came upon you. Countries near and far, Rome was conquering them, man. Rome is that fourth beast when you read Daniel's 2. All right, read on.
Also, that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom again they displace. Finally, that they were greatly exalted.
So who they wanted to rule in a kingdom, that person gonna rule. And who they want to take down from a kingdom, that person they take down. You understand? Who you see do that today? America does that. You know what I mean? If they don't want you ruling, they come in and they taking you down. They starting a coup in that country to overthrow you. They're doing it in Syria. You know what I mean? They did it to Gaddafi. They did it to
in Haiti.
Huh?
Remember they send people to Haiti, snatch Aristide
Yeah.
up? Yeah. Saddam Hussein, they
Yep.
they had video cameras. They humiliated him.
Yeah, they kill him. They kill him and put his dead body on front
front
of the
page.
on front page of the Daily
News.
News, man. You know what I mean? You know, they killed him and put his picture in front of it to humiliate him. You know, that's what America does the same thing, and I'm gonna show you all something. Keep on reading.
Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
Read on.
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house.
So they made what?
They made for themselves a senate house,
It says that they made for themselves a senate house. Read on.
wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting a way for the people, to the end they might be well ordered.
Where also got this set up? Here in America, you understand? They got a Senate house. You understand? What you got to realize is that America is an extension of Rome. You know what I mean? America is an extension from Rome. From the way how the government is set up to all of that, its military might and all of that, America is an extension of Rome. That's why when you read the scripture and it talk about the toes of iron of clay, which is the fifth kingdom, which is America, which the fifth kingdom is part of the fourth kingdom. You all understand what I'm saying? Showing that what America is an extension of Rome. You know, from the way the only difference is how much senators they got. I think it's 400. How much they got? I think it's like 400. Oh, the Senate. How much people they got in their Senate? Come on, man. I'm not from Babylon, man. You, but is that? It's 100. Okay, the Senate is 100 and the House of Representatives is 435. Okay, so it's similar. The same thing. You understand? The same thing how they had Rome set up back then. And it says they never keep on reading.
And that they committed their government to one man every year.
What that's called today? It's called a president. That's what it's called. It's called a president. Okay, read on.
Who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one. And there was neither envy nor emulation among them.
We know that's bullcrap because they was killing each other. You know, read on.
In consideration of these things, Judas chose Eupolemus, the son of John, the son of Achas, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them.
So our forefathers went and made a league of amity and confederacy with Rome back then, when Rome was on the rise. You all understand that? This was the rise of Rome. One point of time, our forefathers, Judah Maccabees and Simon and his brothers, you know, they went and they made what do you call it? How to say? They were allies with Rome one point of time. You know, they were allies. We had treaty with each other. If anybody mess with us, Rome will say they're going to support us and so forth. People are scared to mess with us because we allied ourselves with Rome. You understand? So this was the rise of Rome. This was when Rome was just in the making, in the rising. You know, at this time they had already conquered a lot of nations. You understand? And a lot of nations was paying them tributes and so forth. You know, now eventually the Roman Empire ended up absolving the Greek Empire. That's why, because they're the same people. That's why when you read the history books, it's called the Greco-Roman Empire. You know what I mean? Because the reason why the Romans was able to absorb the Greek is because most of the customs the Romans had, they took it from the Greeks. You know what I mean? And they were the same people. Chittim, Kittim, Edom. You know what I mean? They were the same people. So the Romans eventually absorbed or became one with the Greeks. You never hear the Greeks get conquered or none of that, right? Or destroyed. Why? Because they was absorbed in the Roman culture. Thus, when you read the history books, you read about the Greco-Roman Empire. You understand? So from there, I will go to Daniel 2 and start at verse 40. Daniel 2 verse 40.
The book
I'm going to show you all Rome in the Bible also. You know what I mean? Rome in the Bible. You ain't going to literally read and hear and it say Rome, but you going, you know, those of you all that got understanding, you all going to understand. You know? Daniel 2 and 40.
Daniel chapter 2 verse 40. And
what we're reading about here is this right here. This image. This image right here. That's what we're reading about. You know what? Start at verse 31. Start at 31.
Verse 31. O king, thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold.
So this image head was of fine gold. Read on.
His breasts and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain.
So that stone is talking about Christ, right? That stone is talking about Christ. That's who the stone is talking about. Read on.
And filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, then the fowls of the heaven have he given unto thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all.
So listen, what I want you all to understand is as these kingdom, as you jump to each kingdom, you see the value decreasing. Like a lot of time people said in the ancient world people was uncivilized and they didn't have, no, it was glorious, man. Back then, them kingdoms, Nebuchadnezzar kingdom was glorious. You know what I mean? You know, read on.
Thou art this head of gold. After these shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee.
So you all see that the kingdom that rise up after the Babylonian kingdom, it says that that kingdom was inferior to the Babylonian kingdom. You understand? That's why it's referred to them as what? As what? Silver. Because, you know, gold is more precious than silver. But read on.
And another third kingdom of brass.
So who is the second kingdom that rose up? Remember, it's going through history. You understand? It's going through history. First was the Babylonians, then is who? The Persians and the Medes. All right? Read on.
And another third kingdom of brass.
And the third kingdom that rose up, this third kingdom is of brass. This third kingdom is talking about who? It's talking about the Greeks. So when you look right through history, it tells you about all the major kingdoms that rose up and ruled this earth. And this is what this is going into. You know what I mean? That's why when people come with dumb doctrines, you be like, yo, what you talking about? You know, like the Arabs is east. So you're like, okay, we just read Daniel. They tell you about that. It tell you about the 4 kingdoms that gonna rise up and rule this earth. You understand? It tells you that. So you telling me, no, we gotta wait for who? We gotta wait for the iron and so forth. You know, it's confusion, man. It's confusion and and shame on those of you all that got confused with them foolishness. You understand? So read on.
And another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
So the third kingdom of brass is talking about the Greek Empire. Read on.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
And the fourth kingdom is talking about what? The Roman Empire. All right, read on.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise.
So the Roman Empire, I tell you, the Roman Empire came for conquering. We just read that in the Maccabees, right? They came and they conquered all the nations. And anybody that don't want to submit to them, it tell you what they do. Anybody that they don't want ruling, it tell you that they going to take them down and they going to put up in that country who they want ruling. All right? So the fourth is the Roman Empire. Read on.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided.
So this right here is how you when you look through history, that's how you tell that the iron, we know that's talking about Rome. You understand? You know, so as I said, those of you all that got wisdom, you all understand that. You know, the iron that came and conquer all the lands and so forth, that's talking about Rome. That's who that's talking about. Edom, Rome. All right? Now, when you keep on reading, just keep on reading.
But there shall be in it of the strength.
Keep it, read it again.
Okay. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron.
So when it says the feet is of part clay and part iron, you understand? The feet is talking about what? It's talking about right now, America. You understand? That's who the feet is talking about. Because how much toes you got on the feet? You understand? When we read Revelation, remember I talk about the what? The 10 common markets. You understand? So the feet is talking about America. Okay? This is the last part of this rulership, of this kingdom that we are in right now, man. This is we in the feet. That's where we at. Read on.
But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so shall the kingdom be partly strong and partly broken.
So this kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. Why? You know what I mean? Because the military strength of Rome, back then, remember what Rome did. Rome wasn't mixing with the other nations, man. You know what I mean? It's either you get down or lay down. That was it. You gonna pay tribute to us, or we gonna get rid of you. You understand? Today in this society, the way how things is set up, you know, you had what make this country weak is democracy. You know what I mean? Freedom of speech. All these things. And God set it up that way. Because back in ancient time, you think you could speak against Caesar? You know, today you could say what you want to say about Trump. You know what I mean? And nobody gonna kill you for that. But back then you couldn't speak against Caesar. You will be put to death. You couldn't say certain things. You see some things that we are able to say openly on the street today. You couldn't say that back then. Otherwise you will be put to death. You know what I mean? Today you got even in the government. You remember these? You see these on the news. You got these three women that Trump be messing with all the time. You know, they standing up and they talking and speaking for what they believe in, and Trump like, listen, man. You know, only in America you could do that. these women need to go back to, and stuff like that. But these things is happening. Why? Because, they have mixed America. The iron have mixed itself with the seed of men, meaning there are different nations and ethnicity living here in Babylon. You know what I mean? So read that again.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
This kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. Read on.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
So it says that they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Read on.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
Because they don't cleave one to another. That's what you see happening in this country today. That's how you know the feet is talking about America. They don't cleave one to another. It's bare segregation take place. So you got the white people living in one place. You got the Chinese people, Chinatown. You got the Arabs here. You got the East Indian in Queens. Or it's segregation. Then the Negroes, the slaves, they put all of them in the ghetto or in certain areas to live. You understand? And it's bare division. That's why this country is not strong. Because why? Because Rome have mixed himself with the seed of men. The people that they was oppressing, that they had paying tribute to them, they got them living amongst them now. They got them in their government and so forth. That's why it says what it says. All right. So that's it on that.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay. That's it.
All right, go to Daniel 7:7.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 7. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth.
So this fourth beast that had great iron teeth. I remember what we just read in Daniel 2, right? About the iron. Right? You all remember that? Okay, so the iron is talking about what? It's talking about Rome. What I'm trying to show you all is Rome in the Bible. Rome in the Bible. As I said, those of you all that are spiritual, you all should see it. Read on.
It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
So this beast was diverse from all the beasts that was before it. All right? Meaning the other kingdoms that came before it. Read on.
And it had 10 horns.
And it had what?
10 horns.
So you all see, now it's going into what? Now it's going into America again, the European Union. Read on. The 10 common markets. Read on.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
That another little horn that came up amongst them is talking about America. Read on.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
And them other 3 horns that was plucked up by the root was France, Spain, and what? And Britain. Them is the 3 wars that America had to fight to gain their independence. You understand? So, but what I really want to focus on is the part that's talking about Rome. You understand? Rome, because all of that we just mentioned there, that came afterwards. I'm dealing with Rome. I want you all to see Rome in the prophecy, Rome in the Bible. You know what I mean? Because first you got to see that before I get into when they came against us and start killing us and oppressing us. Okay? So from there go to 2nd Ezra 11 and 39. I'm going to touch on a couple more scriptures, and I'm going to do a part, and I'm going to continue with the lesson next week, all right?
Second Ezra, chapter 11, verse 39. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts whom I made reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?
That the end of their time should come through them. The four beasts that God gave to rule, that God created to rule in his world. You understand? Those four beasts is the beast that we just read about, which is the last one is who? It's Rome. You understand? The last one is Rome. Read on.
And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past.
So the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that was past. Meaning Rome came and Rome conquered all nations. All right, that's why I'm telling you all. Your brothers, pay attention. Read, understand what you're reading. Read.
And had power over the world with great fearfulness.
So the Romans, they had power over the whole planet Earth with great fearfulness. Everybody feared them. We read that in Maccabees. Read on.
And over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression.
And they did us much wicked oppression, man. Much wicked oppression. They crucify our forefathers. You know, they beheaded our forefathers. All right, read on.
And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit.
So this beast, this fourth beast, he dwelt upon the earth with deceit. All right, read on.
For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwelling places of them that brought forth fruit.
So you all see that? That's Rome. That's Rome and also America. You understand? Because as I said, America is an extension of Rome. Now go to Deuteronomy 28 and 49. I'm going to close it down here, man. Deuteronomy 28 and 49. Next week I'm going to continue.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall send a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
So read that again. I like to read it again. It's so keen. Read that again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So Moses wrote this thousands of years before it was fulfilled. You know what that showed me? Like a brother asked me, Deacon, how you increase your faith? What increased my faith is when I read stuff like this and I see it come to pass. What increased my faith is when I see prophecies being fulfilled. You know what I mean? When I read the scriptures and then I see brothers amongst us fulfilling the prophecies that I'm reading about, I'm like, damn, it ain't no joke. It's when you see prophecies being fulfilled right before your eyes, that increased my faith. You know, read on.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
And the Lord shall bring a nation against the Israelites from far. Read on.
From the end of the earth.
From the end of the earth. Remember what we read in Maccabees early on, that they conquer nation from far. The Romans, from there and far, they conquer nations with their patience and their policies. Read on.
As swift as the eagle flieth.
And what is the symbol of this nation? It doesn't mention eagle just for no reason. Moses mentioned eagle. Why? Because Moses, he saw something. Let me get the image, the symbol of the Roman army or Rome. Now, when you see a Roman, when you saw the centurion or a battalion, they always get the eagle in front leading them. You understand? When you see them marching and stuff, they always got the eagle. You know? They always got the eagle in front representing Rome. You understand? Because the eagle represent Edom. You understand? So the Romans here, they carrying that symbol, the eagle. You understand? The Romans, they are not Japhet. The Romans is not Arabs. You understand? The Romans is Edom. So read that one more time again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So this nation that God brought against us from far, it's talking about Rome. Okay, read on.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
And that was the symbol of Rome, the eagle. Why the eagle? Because the eagle is also the symbol of Edom. You understand? And that's who Rome is, Edom. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Because when they came, they spoke Latin. You understand? That's what they spoke when they came. Read on.
A nation of fierce countenance.
A nation of fierce countenance. Remember, who writing this? Who writing this? Moses wrote this. When you read, listen, you know how some people say the Bible is man-made. How the hell a man could tell you about a people, a nation coming to conquer you thousands of years before it happened? You feel what I'm saying? Moses is telling the Israelites, Rome is going to come and destroy you. And how you know it's true? When you go into the history book. You understand? Because this prophecy that we're reading about, that Moses prophesied, it became history. And there's artifacts today that signify that history and show that that took place. What did that make the Bible? Make the Bible a true book. So to hell with all you dudes that's against the Bible, atheists, Egyptologists, all of you all that's against the Bible saying it's not a true book. It's crazy evidence. Even though Esau hide a lot of the evidence from us, but just with the little evidence we have, we could dispute all that foolishness, man.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.